So we have two things that we'll go into. We have an official Kang response. Now, in case you did not know, ever since Jonathan Majors had been fired by Disney, don't come in the comments talking about Marvel, why you fire him. Disney fired Jonathan Majors. I'm gonna say that again because y'all been saying this in comments, and I'm saying it early. Disney, who owns Marvel, they fired Jonathan Majors. So even if Marvel wanted to bring Jonathan Majors back, Disney, their boss, and this is according to the reports, Disney's the one that made that decision. Okay, let's just be accurate. That's all. So ever since Disney fired Jonathan Majors, we have not heard anything from Marvel Studios about what's up with Kang, right? I mean, I even told y'all I met Kevin Feige once. It was at an award show or something, and I mentioned Jonathan Majors. I was like, "Yo, man, what happened to the Kang gang? Kang gang, what happened?" And he was like, "Right, right." Like at first, I couldn't tell if he was playing or not. Acting like he was, not involved. But then reading the other report when they said that Disney was the one that fired him, I'm kind of starting to believe that he also was kind of shocked that they fired him. So I'm just speculating. So we haven't heard anything about what was going to happen with the character. Now, I've already said I'm cool if Marvel could bring him back. If they don't want to bring him back, sucks. But I'd be cool if they recast Kang. And by the way, some people were saying, well, they can't recast Kang because it was in Jonathan Majors' contract. Well, at least from what I've heard from entertainment lawyers and such, if you break the morality clause, which is basically why they're able to fire you if you have some sort of misconduct or whatever, it's basically another clause that if you mess up, we can fire you, right? If you get arrested, go to jail, we can fire you. So that clause annulled Jonathan Majors' contract. So the question of whether or not they can recast, it is possible. They can recast if they wanted to. Matter of fact, I just read another report that and I'm sorry I don't have it with me right now, but it was saying that for a long time Marvel was trying to recast until they found the opportunity to just move on to Doctor Doom with Robert Downey Jr. So once they saw that other shiny object, they said, man, we're going to stop. So it sounded like, at least from the reports and rumors that I read online, that they actually were trying to recast, but they moved on. And let's be honest, even though I don't like it, Robert Downey Jr., Doctor Doom, Avengers movie, that's an easy $2 billion. Like, people are going to show up for that. The casuals, the general audience, they're going to show up for that over anything with Kang. So, with that said, before we get to the official Kang response, we actually have a leak. And this leak has to do more with what we could have gotten with Kang. Now, I read some of the full rumors and leaks. Again, this is nothing official. This is just something that's been spreading around. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Don't really know. But I did feel like at least we can comment on it just a little bit. And I'll give you the gist of it because it's like 7-8 tweets long. We'd be here all night talking about it. But the gist of it was basically the Council of Kang. They break out. And they don't like what the 616 were doing with time travel and all of that stuff. So what they end up doing is they start breaking up and they punish and destroy all these other timelines. Okay, they're punishing all these other timelines based off of what the 616 sacred timeline did. So they're going out there and they're killing all the superheroes, they're killing all the mutants, they're doing all this stuff to these other timelines. So imagine they're going to Deadpool's timeline. Imagine they're going to the Fox Universe timeline. They're going to the Sony timeline. They're going to all these other timelines to stop it. Now, from what I read and some of the rumors, they were saying that like they were going to gather all these anchor beings from all these different timelines, and they were going to come together and defeat the Kangs. And they tried it and they lost. Didn't work out. And then, of course, you have all these little, and this was supposed to happen in Avengers 5, okay? they were going to break up into little teams. You had Captain America over there, Sam Wilson. You got Captain Marvel on another team, and all these different versions of mini Avengers were going to go fight a different version of Kang. You were going to have going against Immortus, and you'd have them go against Ramatut and all these other ones, right? And they still lose. Like all of them just lose. So just kind of think it's very similar to Infinity War. The teams, they try to come together. It's not enough. They end up losing. That was the basic premise with all these leaks. Now, I'm not mad about that. I'm fine with most of those because, in my opinion, I've been saying if you're going to recast Kang, if you're going to bring Kang back, before you jump over to Doctor Doom, which everybody I think wants Doctor Doom, at least show us why Kang was the menace that you tried to set him up to be. Again, Kang was not a character that we made up in our heads that was so big and bad. Marvel gave us that. Marvel said this guy destroyed multiverses. This guy wiped all the Avengers and all these different, like this guy was a problem. But Marvel also tanked it by letting him get defeated by Super Ants and Ant-Man. Anyway, we have one little leak here, and I wanted to highlight this part and get y'all feedback on it, and I'll give you my response too. So this one here, let's make it a little bigger for y'all. It says Jonathan Majors had filmed scenes as Kang variant, Immortus, for Agatha Coven of Chaos back in 2023. So this is before his whole situation. The show was supposed to reveal that Immortus was the author of the Darkhold, the book of spells that corrupted Wanda. And ever since, the scenes have been cut. If that leak is true, if it's true, I'm glad that they're not recasting Kang, because that would have been stupid, in my opinion. No, thank you. You mean to tell me that all the dark magic and all the stuff that was going on that came from Kang? No. Now this came from, if I'm not mistaken, Jeff Loveness. Jeff Loveness is the same guy that was writing Ant-Man 3. Nah, bro. If this was part of your ideas, bro, I'm actually, you're making me feel better that they've moved on. Now, I still think they should bring Kang back, but what? So no thank you to that terrible idea. Pass. So we don't have to worry about Loveness. He's gone. This is kind of shoulda, woulda, coulda for Avengers 5, but that's done for. Russo brothers, in case nobody knows, the Russo brothers are coming back. They're doing Avengers 5 and 6, Doomsday and Secret Wars, and they also are getting some say on how other shows will be doing things that affect the series. Now, this whole Agatha Darkhold thing to me would have been stupid because the Darkhold has an author. I did a whole video on it when I talked about the Scarlet Witch, but the author is Chthon. Chthon is like this big bad demon in another dimension. Kind of think of like Dormammu, how Dormammu is like in another dimension and all that stuff. Chthon is the author of the Darkhold, and that in itself is a very big story, and I'd rather see that. I'd rather see Wanda. I'd rather see Agatha deal with Chthon, because Chthon is a problem, especially if he comes into the real world. If y'all thought Mephisto was an issue, you don't want to deal with Chthon. You don't want that. Yeah, that's big daddy demon right there. That's a problem. That sounds like a terrible adult star name. Big Daddy Demon. Wow. Anyway, I'm sorry. It's getting late. I'm sorry. And it's still Sunday. Oh my gosh. But that's done for. But let's get into what Kevin Feige said, because we have the president of Marvel Studios finally giving us an update on what's going on with Kang. And this is the thing. He was asked straight up, no chasing, nothing. Will Kang come back? What's up with Kang? Will he return? What's happening? What's happening? Um, so let's hear what the boss man had to say.
Do you know, I've done a number of interviews in the last couple of days, and you're the first person to, I give you credit for just outright asking the question. And I'll give myself credit for trying to evade it and avoid it entirely.
Let me play that again.
Do you know, I've done a number of interviews in the last couple of days, and you're the first person to, I give you credit for just outright asking the question. And I'll give myself credit for trying to evade it and avoid it entirely.
Now, shout out to the interviewer. Shout out to the interviewer for asking the question. I appreciate that. And let me give a little advice to my fellow press people out there, because I feel like being in this game for so long, in this industry, I have learned how to speak Feige-ese. Okay, I can speak a little Feige-ese. And one thing I have learned is never, ever ask Kevin Feige a yes or no question. It's a waste of time. You don't usually get a lot of time, but that is not the thing to do. I know you think you're going to get a simple answer. You never ask this man yes or no questions. Sometimes you get lucky, but sometimes you just won't. Actually, I should say most times you won't. But if I had to interpret based off of all the interviews I've watched a lot of Kevin Feige interviews. I've read a lot of his articles. It's part of the business, right? He didn't say no. You know, what was that from Dumb and Dumber? So you're saying there's a chance, right? Like, he didn't say no. Because think of it like this. Think of it like this. When he was asked, hey, what are the plans for Eternals 2? Yep. Y'all remember what he said about Eternals 2? There are currently no plans for Eternals 2. He said it. We ain't got no plans for Eternals. They might show up, but no. So what that tells me is he doesn't have a problem letting you know if something ain't moving. But the fact that he don't want to answer nothing about Kang, I'm like, ooh, this sound like you telling me this man got a chance. You sitting here. I'm just trying to put 2 and 2 together. So I'm not going to get my hopes up. I'm not going to hold my breath. But if you want to throw Coleman Domingo still in there, I ain't going to be mad. If John Boyega changed his mind, I ain't going to be mad. If we happen to get Denzel to do this one role, I'm not going to be mad. So I'm going to look at this as not a no and a small possibility. Because again, the fact that he wants to avoid the question entirely, why avoid it unless there's something there? Because you could easily just be like, nothing, no. You could just say that. He could have just lied straight up. But the fact that he wants to avoid it, bro, you don't avoid things that aren't there. So I'm going to lean towards we might see a return for Kang. I think so. It might not be Jonathan Majors, but Kang could come back, which I told y'all, I think that this would be a better idea to bring the character back, let him run some havoc, let Doom come in, take over, defeat him, and be like, I'm the real big bad around here, and move on. That would be my idea. And yes, I do believe Denzel would be great, because one of my beliefs is that, you know, a lot of people are saying like, oh, why don't you bring Denzel in for this? I don't think Denzel would be the type of actor at this stage in his career that he would really want to do this for the long term. I think Denzel, if I were working at Marvel, I would say, excuse me, Mr. Washington, we would love to bring you in for one role, just one role, one time. If you like it, you can always come back. But this one role in a big Avengers 5 movie, have him be the oldest of all the Kangs. Have him be the one in charge of all the Kangs. By the way, they do have some great CGI at Marvel. It'd be really dope if they made the Kang Council all look like younger, different versions of Denzel, throughout his career. I think that'd be kind of cool. And yeah, you have that Kang come in, do the thing that that was reported in the leaks, where he comes in, he's knocking over things, he's taking over, defeating all the all the Avengers, X-Men, all of that. And then at the end, Doom comes in and be like, nah, my time now. Bye-bye. One time, big money. You cannot sit here and tell me that if Robert Downey Jr. gonna get y'all butts in the seats, that a Denzel Washington as Kang the Conqueror would not get y'all butts in the seats as well. Are you kidding me? We just went from 2 billion to 2.5 billion. Marvel, do you want $500 million? Because I just gave you $500 million. When y'all gonna put a boy on? I just gave you $500 million. Call up Denzel, offer this man at least $25 million because you're gonna make it back. You don't think we're gonna show up? I know we showing up for Denzel. Half of y'all wasn't even thinking about Gladiator 2 until you saw Denzel in that trailer. When you saw Denzel, y'all was like, you know what? Down with Rome. Why not? Everybody changed their mind when Denzel's involved. Man, listen. I feel like that'd be a winning idea. But anyway, guys, you let me know, what did you think about this supposed leak of Kang being the author of the Darkhold? What did you think about Kevin Feige's official response on Kang, non-response, whatever you want to call it? And what do you think about my little pitch? Hey. If anybody out there starts taking this pitch, y'all let them know. It came from me. Y'all please don't let them take this now. But what do you think about Denzel as Kang? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. This was just a segment of one of my live chats, and if you're interested in joining in on the next one, be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications for more. I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.